ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ। ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਆਪ ਸਭ ਮਾਈ ਭਾਈ ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਈਏ। ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਇਸ ਦੁਆ ਦੀ ਆਗਿਆ ਦੇਣ, ਅਸੀਸ ਦੇਣ ਜੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਿਰਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਸ ਜਾਵੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। So Guru Rup Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, today the very first Hukam of the 52 Hukam of Dharm Satguru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj is Dharm di Kirat. Dharm di Kirat, if we look at the Akhri translations to Dharm, it's righteousness, honesty and morality. So Kirat means work. Word for word, what Guru Patsani Maharaj is saying, whatever work we do, we must have these three elements present. It must be righteous work, it must be an honest work, and must be a living which is morally correct as well. Now, even though Dharm di Kirat comes as a hukam and in writing in 52 Hukam, throughout Guru Ityas, from Dharm Satguru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj to the 10th Slough themselves, there are various occasions, numerous sakhiyan, where Guru Maharaj Ji either gives Dharm di Kirat as a direct instruction to any Gursikh that has come to them, or as part of a teaching. One very small sakhi I want to share with you is when Dharm Satguru Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, just before going to Gwalior da Kila, Jahangir went on a hunting trip with Satguru Ji, and after the hunting, what they did along the river, they set up their tents. Living close by was a Gursikh, Kaya. He used to cut grass for horses and whatnot, and then sell it to either businessmen or even the royal court itself for their horses. And when he heard that Sache Patsha, the true king, was nearby, he had never met Satguru Ji, so I don't want to spend too much time on this Sakhi. So what he did, he went looking for Guru Maharaj. and he ended up in Jahangir's tent. And when he ended up in Jahangir's tent, he pulled out what we would call a penny today. And unhe matha tekya, and when he found out that this is not Sache Paatshah, because what he asked for from Jahangir, matha tek ke, he goes, Sache Paatshah menu mukti baksho. And Jahangir obviously knew that this guy, he's come to the wrong Sache Paatshah. He was doubting who Sache Paatshah was. Maharaj ne aap hi bataya to let him understand that he is not the Sache Paatshah. Sache Paatshah Sadguru hi hai. He said, I can give you anything in this world, the one thing I cannot give you is mukti. If it's mukti you're after, then you've come wrong to the wrong tent. The tent you want is further up the stream. Outside that tent, there's also horses, there are also warriors walking around. In there is Sadguru Gobind inside you, another kol jao. When this Gursikh went, Maharaj Sahib ji darshan kite, matha tekya, Guru Sahib ji knew what he was already after. Maharaj kande Gursikha ki aas rakhte hain. What hope have you come here within your heart? And all he put down was a penny from his honest living. And he said to Maharaj, he goes, Maharaj, mite kirpa karo, that when my end time comes, I do not fall into the clutches of the angel of death, what we call Jamdut, Jam. Tan Sadguru Hargobind Sahib Ji, there, just as in all the other swarups, Maharaj kande Gursikha sade do bachan manni. Listen to our true instructions we're going to give you. Pehla instruction, Dharm di Kirat kari. Dooja instruction, Maharaj says, Sadain Narayan Akar Purkh Vaheguru Adi Jubaan te rakhi simran karda rahi. And when Guru Paatshah Ji Maharaj said this, Maharaj kande bhi jab tera ant mera aayega, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sache Paatshah tere sahai honge. That when your end time comes, Tan Sadguru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj will come to your aid and will stop you from the messenger of death. Even there, Guru Paatshah didn't first say Simran Karna. Even in Bwanja Hukam, some people when they read these, they say, why isn't Simran the first instruction? Ja Naam Japna. Guru's Karni is great, in the order in which Guru Maharaj Ji lists everything, that is great also. Maharaj is sabto pehla hukam, the very first hukam Guru Sahib Ji has given is Dharm di Kirat. If our kirat is not according to Dharm, then Gurmukho, apa hat karke na, we may show people we see Guru karde hain, but oh Guru fe Gurmukho, we're not adhikari. We don't have the right to do Naam Japna and Simran if our kirat is not Dharm di. So Maharaj kehte bhi Bhai Gursikha Dharm di Kirat kari Naam Japi. Pehl means priority. Maharaj gave us to Dharm di Kirat and then Naam Japna. That is just one Sakhi out of many. Now, if we just look at work itself, Maharaj has not given hukum to anyone, agya to anyone to not work. Okay, fine, some people can't work due to bodily problems or health or disabilities. That doesn't even come into the scope. But for every able-bodied person, Guru Maharaj da hukum hai we get to karni, wo bhi tarni. If we look at this planet, for example, sometimes we need to step back and we need to look from afar. If we look at this planet, every single living being on this planet has got a job to do. Just two little insects I'm going to point towards. Bees and worms. Bees, they pollinate 1/3 of the food that we eat. If they decided to get up one day and said, okay, we're not going to work anymore, it wouldn't be too long, according to scientists, that we start running out of food. Worms. People tread on worms, people see worms and they make all sorts of funny noises. Worms, they are an imperative part of the ecological system. They oxygenate the soil. Even what they excrete fertilizes the soil. They break down organic matter. Everything on earth has its part to play, just like if you look at a machine that's working perfectly. Providing everything is working in sync, it's all working perfectly. So even as human beings, we have a job also. And every job that we do, now I'm going to keep stressing Dharm. Providing it's within Dharm, it's all needed. If you imagine a woman who's pregnant and now she's going to go for her very first scan, where is she going to have that scan? At a hospital. How's the hospital made? From bricks and mortar. Where do they get the bricks and mortar from? From the earth. It's quarried out and made into bricks, and it's made into sand. Well, it's not made into sand, it's just pulled out the ground. Then the cement we use, that's all quarried. By who? By people. How's it gotten to the place where they're going to build this hospital? By transport. What is transport? Vehicles. How are they made? They're manufactured parts from all over the world. Again, the logistics of getting those parts to the people in order to get the lorry, in order to get the bricks and mortar, in order to get into the area to build it. To build it, you need architects first of all to design it. Once they've designed it, then you need to source all the supplies, get them there, and start building it. To build it, you need people. Again, work, work, work. Once the hospital is built, then they need technicians to come and install all the equipment. Once it's installed, you need a doctor, you need staff, you need trained staff, you need nurses. What to do? To run the place. You need electricity. Look how much stuff goes in just up until that point there. When she gets there, she gets an ultrasound scan or whatever she's getting done. By who? By one of the medical staff. That medical staff, where did they go? They went to school, got to get an education, taught by teachers, again in a school made of bricks and mortar. All this and much, 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 much more. And this baby isn't even born. And when the baby is born, just imagine how much needs to go into raising a child in order for each and every single one of us to survive, to exist on this planet as a species. Everyone must work. So Guru Padshah Maharaj made the very first instruction, Dharm di Kirat. Why? When it's according to Dharm, our Jeevan becomes good. When it's not according to Dharm, I don't really want to go down that route because we're not going to have enough time. But running off licenses, especially when keeping a beard and a turban, the nishani of Sikhi. Jinnah marji mu to guru guru kari jo safar nahi honi na hi thade dekhe pani hai. This is Dharm di Kirat. That's Dharm and Dharm. Aapa ਗੱਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਕਰ ਦਵਾਂਗੇ, वो गुरु नहीं खुश होना. Japji Sahib Maharaj says, "Sahs syanpa lakh hohe ikna chalna naal." Whatever cleverly, whatever chatrai we use, if our kirat is not according to Dharm, Guru nu praman hai, penny nahi apne hodi. So this is just the worldly way. Now remember, there's not just the worldly angle, there's a spiritual angle. What are we here as human beings? We're here to get out of this chakkar called 84 lakh joon. And in order to get out of this chakkar, what is that we need to do? It's bhakti. And bhakti, the understanding of bhakti can go so deep that you can spend many lifetimes learning about it, let alone in this little lifetime. In order to do bhakti, there is such a structure that has been set that needs to be met for you to be successful, for me to be successful, for anyone to be successful. And when we're doing Dharm di Kirat, to do a normal job is important, but to do Dharm di Kirat for spiritual purposes, for bhakti, is paramount. There's nothing greater than Dharm di Kirat for that spiritual traveler. Now, if our kirat is not honest, it's not moral, and it's not righteous, and well, if it's immoral, it's dishonest and unrighteous, then what we've got to question ourselves is, what kind of spiritual traveler are we? If we're just going to exist as human beings that are born, that eat, sleep, grow old and die, then really because then it's of no importance, because we've made no attempt whatsoever to come out of this chapter. But for the person, especially Gursikhs, especially for those who call themselves Gursikh, Guru Ka Sikh, for that person, Dharm di Kirat is paramount. Just imagine a person who is dishonest, immoral, unrighteous. These as characteristics are bad enough, let alone as them being a part of how we make our living, not only to feed and survive ourselves, but also to feed our family. also to carry on through society. So, if we do anything along those lines, immoral, dishonest, unrighteous, then we may call ourselves a Sikh, but we don't live up to the definition that is being given of a Sikh. A Sikh is a practitioner of the highest ideals as per Gurdwara. And we learn what to practice through Sri Gurbani, through Gur Itihas, through Aad Sri Dasam Granth, through Bhai Gurdas Ji, an untold Jeevani of Gurmukh Pyare, of Mahapurukhs. That's where we learn what Hukam is. And when we learn what we learn, we need to live by it. That is a practitioner of the highest ideas. So Gurmukh, going a bit more deeper into this. Now, why is it important for a Gursikh to do Dharam di Kirat? When we work, the money that we earn is what we buy our food with. Now, Siane kehte hote jaisa an taisa man. Translated, that means, however is your food, what we eat, so becomes your mind. Now, when we do work, we earn money, and with that, we go out and we buy food and we eat it. The food that we eat, when it goes inside us, it does a lot that science has not even got at yet. Science has got to certain parts of it, but not the entirety of it. Science can't even understand the full functioning of this body. How can they possibly understand the functioning of the mind? They know what the mind is. No, I beg your pardon. They know there is a mind, and scientists will tell you this all day long, but they don't know what the mind is, or where it is. You can't research something that you cannot arrive at. So, whatever we eat, earn to the money that we're earning, if our way of earning it is dishonest, and isn't as per Maharaj's Hukam, then that manifests itself inside us. When Sangat came from Sultanpur Lodi to Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj, they did Benti. They said, Maharaj, that we became good Sikhs at the time of Sadhguru Amarjeet Sahib Ji, Tade Nana Ji. And when we came to Guru Ji Shabad, since then, ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਮ ਵੀ ਜਪਦੇ ਹਾਂ, we live life as according to Gurmat, Gurbani, Nitlem ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਰਦੇ हैं. Maharaj ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਸੀ that they didn't just do just normal Nitlem, much more. There was less distractions in those days. देखो पर Maharaj ਮਨ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਹੈ, the peace of mind, true peace of mind. True peace of mind is that peace that never ever breaks. Dasa done this benti many times. When we sometimes experience peace or joy or happiness, it's temporary. When we're hungry, we get this craving for food. When we eat it, we get happy. You get some kind of reward from eating. 4 hours later, it's the same bamari again. So these are temporary sukh. What the sukh that we're after is that sukh, Gurmukh, even if you're getting sown into two, or jandani, jithe man shant rahenda, at all times, regardless of whatever you're facing. And so when they came to Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj benti kiti, they said, Maharaj, we Sikh hain, see from Guru Amardas Sahib Ji's vela, and Thadi Kirpa de now, with your Kirpa, we read a lot of Bani, we do a lot of Simran. But that one thing, really, Mandi Shanti, we haven't been able to achieve Mandi Shanti. And Tansat Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj gave Updesh to them. It's a very long Updesh, but Das just wants to pick out a few points. What Guru Sahib Ji explained to them was how Rajo, Tamo and Gun, Shaktiyan work throughout the body, and how food influences these greatly. Now, not going into the workings of Rajo, Sato and Tamo, Maharaj went into it, but I'm not going to go into it. So, Maharaj said to them that, the food you eat, not only the kinds of food you eat affect your mind and how you think, but also how you earn it. Now this can go deeper and deeper and deeper. Maharaj said, if even 1 or 2 paise enter your house that are unjust, ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਾ ਬਿਲਤੀ ਹੈ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਭੰਗ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ. Now if you've got a swimming pool full, if you've got a bathtub full of water and it's clean, pristine water, all it needs is 1 or 2 drops of black ink and you can see it will start changing, it start losing its appearance, should I say. So when it comes to Naam Japana as well and Nityanem, Gurmukh, it's paramount that we do this, but it's even more paramount that apni jehdi kirte hai, the money that's coming into our lives is, now I'm going to use a word, it's not a swear word, it's used in good money many times, it's halal di kamai, not haram di kamai. It becomes haram di kamai when it's contrary to Guru Sahib's teaching. We have this fear that if I stop running an off license, or if I stop working in a salesman and stop telling lies all day to sell my product, these are unfounded fears. Fears are many. How many fears have we had since birth? I don't know how many more we're going to have. Whenever we have to do something that is according to Gurmat, and we're finding it hard, Das always does this benti, do ardas, ardas, ardas. Because when you're doing ardas at that time, you're seeking Guru Sahib's sanctuary. And when we're seeking Guru Sahib's sanctuary, know this in our hearts. Whoever has sought Maharaj Sahib's sanctuary has always got it. So Maharaj told them that where you should not eat too many foods that are jehde manu prakaunde aa mircha masale whatnot, which then influence rajo tamo sato, but you should also be careful of what kind of money comes into your house. Now the kind of foods that we eat, especially, let's talk about especially, any food that we eat, it alters it affects our character, our personality, our emotion, our concentration, our spiritual being. It even influences the way we think. Now there's scientific research now. Like I said, Siane said, Jaisa Anna Taisa Man. This say is probably a few hundred years old. Who knows, probably a few thousand years old. But now science is agreeing with this. Scientists are saying that whatever you eat, it travels at such a speed, the food that we eat, the effect it has on our thinking. What they did, they got the rabies virus and they injected it in through the rectums of a mouse into its stomach. Research from there showed that the signals between the stomach and the brain were in the milliseconds, not even seconds, not minutes, nothing, in the milliseconds. Now, science has only got to that level there yet, where they're saying, okay, the food you eat has a great bearing on depression, on the way we think, on our emotions, has a great bearing. It even changes your character. So now science has got to there, but science is not absolute, it's far further than that. When we're eating food paid for by money, which isn't earned according to Gurmat Dharm di Kirat, what we do is we impede ourselves on this path of Sikhi. You meet some people, कहते हैं 60 साल हो गए जाती साहब करते हैं, मेरे को फर्क पिया नहीं। जानी सकते बाबा जी करते की हैं, एक तो मैं करना की ऑफ लाइसेंस चलाना, 60 साल हो कर, there's going to be no फर्क. जिन्ना चल our earning, our kamai is not shuddh, our inside does not become shuddh. And Maharaj showed this Pratap Satguru Namdev said to Maharaj was at Bhai Amarjeet Singh's house. You've all heard the Sakhi. Bhai Amarjeet Kirat, Dharm di Kirat karne wala sadhu sant Mahatma, Guru's beloved Sikh. When Maharaj was at their house, untold people were coming to see Maharaj. The local chieftain Magpago got jealous. He's thinking, nobody comes to pay me a visit, they all come to his house. When he realized that Guru Nanak Dev Ji was there, he said, Aadhe Malwadi Vidiyai Karan, that come to my house with Prashad, I'm doing it for Anek, plenty sadhus. There was a religious day coming up. And Maharaji never went. Then he sent another message. Maharaji very again. Now when Maharaj wants to teach someone or break someone's car, they're a master of doing that. When he never went, when Satguruji never went, and he caught wind of this again, he started to kick up a fuss. When he kicked up a fuss, then Maharaj ne fatak karke dikhaya. Maharaj said, Mahatma, the reason why we're not going to eat at your house, bring your roti. And when Mahatma Sevadars brought the roti, prashada, full thal of plenty of items of food. And there was Bhai Laloji. And now I want to tell you one thing about Bhai Laloji. Tan Bhai Mardana, namaskar, Bhai Mardana ki charna de. Bhai Mardana said to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, he said, Maharaj, let me go and eat that. He said, do you see what Bhai Lalo eats? He said, the roti he eats is so dry that it'll cut my throat inside. I'm a guy who doesn't eat the karana. Maharaj said, par edi teri roti ya Bhai Mardana, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਸੁੱਖ ਦੇਖੀ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਤੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਬੁਰਕੀ ਖਾ ਕੇ ਦੇਖ when Bhai Mardana took one burki of Bhai Laloji's food he went into something called Bismarck where you lose all consciousness of your body and where you are. So anyway, Malpago's food has come and over here is a dry roti from Bhai Laloji's house. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj took both of them and squashed them, out of Bhai Laloji's house roti came milk, which signifies purity. Out of Malpago's roti came blood and milk. Sorry, I beg your pardon, blood. And which signifies that, well, I'll tell you what it signifies in a second. When Malpago shopped at this, all the people sitting there shopped at this. When they asked me, Maharaj, ye ki ho raha? Maharaj told Malpago bhi, theek hai, you're a Shah. People respect you because they need something of you. But your earnings are immoral, they're dishonest. You bully people, you beat people up, you demand taxes of them. If they don't pay you, you do all sorts to them. We don't dare come near your food, let alone eat it. So that Sakhi there, Maharaj is giving instruction through the Sakhi. Any Gursikhs living like Bhai Laloji, Dharm di Kirat karke jo bachda, he ate himself and he also fed his family. There's one Sakhi I want to share with you when Sheme Pak Sahib Dhamma Sadguru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. This is directly related to Dharm di Kirat. When Guru Pak Sahib was Gwalior da Kila, for those of you who don't know, Gwalior da Kila is where Maharaj, what we normally hear was prison. There's no one that can prison Sadguru on the planet, in the universe, forget the planet, let alone Jahangir Badshah. Maharaj went there for other reasons, but anyway, as the Sakhi goes, as Maharaj was there, an order was given to the governor of the fort that whatever Guru Sahib Ji wants to eat, make sure it's available for Guru Sahib Ji to eat. And what the governor did not to fall short of something, he ordered ration upon ration upon ration of all sorts of food. And when he was there, Guru Sikha ne puchha, Maharaj Sadguru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, aage aaya, shall we prepare your meal for you? And at that time, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji said, Guru Sikho, we're not going to even take one grain of rice from them, let alone prepare anything and eat anything. And the Guru Sikh saying, Maharaj, fine, we know that you don't need food, but we know you also eat food. Now, until you don't eat food, we're not going to eat. And we definitely need food. So Maharaj, what do we do now? And Dhamma Sadguru Har Gobind Sahib Ji at that time told the Guru Sikhs, Maharaj said, Gurmukho, go out to work. They were allowed to go back and forth from the prison as they wanted, from the fort, I beg your pardon, as they wanted to. Maharaj said, bahar jao, aadi tardi karo, earn money. With the money you earn, buy rations, and from that prepare a meal and you'll have to eat. Otherwise, you will Turkey are these Mughals. They may be the rulers in this land, as a Kampur Vaheguru has made them. But their ways of getting their money, they kill people, they extort people, they suppress people. We don't want to have even one koda paisa of their money. spent on what we're going to eat. And the Gursikhs used to go out every single day. I believe, I may have forgotten, I believe there's a pottery maker who gave them gift. Then they would work, earn money on ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ. From more recent times, those of you who may have heard of Jathedar Bhai Gurdwara Singh Ji Conke. I just want to share this with you because there's something really important in the life of that Gursikh. He's a Shaheed Singh. After 1984, the Indian police, they picked him up, and the tortures they set about his body are unspeakable. But he stood firm in his tongue all the way till the end. They broke him on a bodily way. But why? Now some Sikhs that knew him, they tell me, his wrath is his conduct. It was so fucking that even if you went to buy, now we were talking about what we eat, even if you went to buy medication for the dangers that he used to look after, yeah, cows and whatnot, he would make sure he got medication from someone jada aade gur mard di wrath de vich pakka si, the Dharm di Kirat. He said, because if he's not, the medications I buy from him are going to filter through to me through the milk that I'm going to then get from my cows. Like I said, science has not reached at that stage yet. Forget those, the one who created the exact science of the entire universe, when they teach us, it's not something we should doubt. That what we earn, the money we get from the work that we do, affects our lives greatly. Kalesh, all these kind of problems that we have in our life, they're all rooted back, most of them, if not to the lack of naam and nitane, is to the kind of food that we eat. So Gurmukh, we're coming to a close for today's divan. For Katha, Das wants to just do one thing. Sometimes, due to our own insecurities, we feel that, oh, I don't want to work, or if I work, the road's not going to be too great for me. Or, if I leave what I'm doing, which is not according to Gurmat, I'm not going to get anything. These are very, very, very shallow insecurities. When we take one step towards Guru Padshah, genuinely towards that instruction, Maharaj creates such scenarios, such opportunities for us that we could never even thought of. Tika, look, sometimes we can end up at hard times. We think they're very difficult, we're never going to get out of these. Especially when we turn towards Guru Sahib. But sometimes Maharaj can test us. But that's not always the case. Where we feel that we are falling short to live up to what is expected from us via Guru Maharaj's Hukam, we must endeavor, we must try to seek the strength from Guru Sahib Ji to live up to that. The more we do, there comes a stage when we look back and we think, really? Really was I like that? Was that me? And even if someone, Gurmukh gave you all the sukh of the planet, then you don't turn back. But how does this condition become? ਜਦੋਂ we start to live by Guru's Hukam. So one final benti is a repeat, but nonetheless it's a benti. Please, please, please search through your lives and see what is not according to Gurmat. And don't just leave it there. Find the will and the conviction inside to do a das in front of Maharaj. So Maharaj then makes that way possible for us. So Gurmukh, until next week, that's the conclusion of today's Diwan. So the first Hukam, Dharm di Kirat. Next week, it'll be Bhai Amarjeet Singh Ji's turn, which is the Dharm, which is a tenth of our earnings, and he will share that with your good selves. Das wants to say thank you to Tan Satguru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Sache Paatshah, with whose kirpa we are all sitting here. Gurmukh Das wants to thank all you Guru Pyari Sahib Sangat. I can't express how happy I get when I see you sitting here. And a very small thank you, but nonetheless a thank you to my son Jujal Singh. I had a very long week, very, very hectic and long week. So all the notes that I made for today's Katha, he typed them up for me and made a PDF file for them. So, Tanwad to Satguru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, Gurmukh Tanwad, Sari Guru Pyari Sahib Sangat ne. Aao sab mai pai fateh bulaiye Guru Padshah ji. Maru sees laiye and let's take home with us what we have learned today. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I forgot to mention, sorry, for the next 5-10 minutes, Das will be in the back hall as instructed by the youth of Slough. If anyone has any question or anything, please don't turn away. Come forward, by all means ask. And sorry again. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki